This woman just got arrested for saying delay, deny, depose. A Lakeland woman was charged Tuesday after police said she ended a call to an insurance company with the words delay, deny, depose. In an arrest affidavit, the Lakeland Police Department said that officers were contacted by the FBI on Tuesday, December 10th, regarding an alleged threat made over the phone. Near the end of the call, Briana Boston, 42, had reportedly placed a call to Blue Cross Blue Shield regarding recent medical insurance claims. She was denied. The entire phone call was recorded according to the affidavit. Just remember, Blue Cross, that's the same company that was trying to say, hey, listen, we know that like heart surgery and like lung surgery and brain surgery, they go over a certain number of hours, but we're only going to cover the anesthesia for some of the procedure. Okay. So if your surgery takes more than like, I don't know, like 4 hours, 5 hours, we're not covering the anesthesia past that. You have to pay that for that yourself. And then the CEO got, and they were like, actually, we were just playing. We were joking, dude. We were joking. We were actually just kidding. We were kidding. So that's the same company, just as a reminder, as a quick reminder. I saw in another stream somewhere calling her words an act of terrorism. When I tell you guys not to Fed post, this is what I mean, by the way. Because this is bullshit, and like a good lawyer, I think will set her free. But yeah, this is insane that like companies can literally fucking stalk you, which we watched in a separate video. The video about the worker at Frito-Lay's who got injured on site because the equipment was faulty and suffered spinal damage and literally can't even exist anymore without being in perpetual pain, trying to talk about his problems with any media outlets, got him stalked for months and months and months by Frito-Lay's. So companies can literally stalk you, threaten you, harass you. But if you say on the phone after being denied any type of treatment or any type of insurance claims, if you say delay, deny, depose, I guess you get 15 years in prison. Police made contact with Boston at her home in Lakeland, where she reportedly admitted to using the word during the call, telling detectives that healthcare companies played games and they deserved karma from the world because they are evil. Look at these fucking dog shit police officers. The police chief, Sam Taylor, said she's been in this world long enough that she certainly should know better than you can't make threats like that in the current environment that we live in and think we're not going to follow up and put you in jail. Pookie, thank you for the prime. Let me see here. Boston added she doesn't even own any firearms and was not a danger to anyone. She readily admitted, yeah, that's exactly what I said, but I didn't mean anything by it, Chief Taylor said. Well, you don't get to pull that back after you say it. Fucking thumbs, am I right? Based on Boston's statement, investigators said that they believed she meant to threaten the insurance company by using United Healthcare CEO's homicide to her advantage. Boston was charged with threats to conduct a mass shooting. Mass shooting? What? First of all, the assassin killed one person, okay? All right. The only people doing the mass killings are the insurance companies, okay? And let's continue here. It says, Boston was charged with threats to conduct a mass shooting or act of terrorism, according to the affidavit. Quote, my client is 42, married mother of 3, has never had any criminal charges or convictions. May you release her on her own recognizance. Her attorney, Jim Headley, said to a judge during her first appearance in court, her bond is $100,000. Free speech, by the way. Country of free speech, by the way. Country of free speech, by the way. Yeah. That's what I mean, chat, when I say don't Fed post. She needs Thomas Dickey. Nah, those are just words. Nah. Nah. That's just a piece of paper. Nah. What is this clip? Someone sent this earlier in chat.
Everywhere I go, I see the spirits of Iraqi children.
Is this Gremlo? Sorry, what's Fed posting? Posting things that would get you in trouble with the feds. So posting things like deny, delay, depose, or delay, deny, depose. Like, yeah. I don't mean to sound like a bootlegger. Doesn't free speech defense go out the window if you make threats? I don't think this woman should be on trial, but don't Fed post. I mean, I think it's pretty reasonable that unless she actually had anything on her computer that suggested she was looking into buying a gun, or anything on her in her house that looked like she already had guns, or any like if they had an arrest warrant out for her or a search warrant out, and they looked through her stuff and they found anything that would signal that she actually was trying to commit a crime. Yeah, then that would, I think, be considered a threat. I think what she's saying is, I hope they kill you, which is not a crime. It's not a crime to hope someone dies or tell someone you hope they die. It is a crime to say, I will kill you. It's like saying you're going to burn in hell. Yeah. There's a difference between credible and baseless threats. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. 100%. The only reason she got busted for this was to make an example out of her. Yep. Correct. Correct. Mm-hmm. Do we need to watch the video again? Yeah. Hi, I'm Trevor Moore, and you can't say. But the thing is, they're so excited to arrest anyone who ever tries to even be mean to the really nice corporations that are not doing anything bad at all. They don't not doing anything bad at all. You can't be mean to the corporations. They're innocent. They're just a real corporation. And yeah, like this is here, chat. I'm so confused about this. I've gotten so many rape and death threats on this website. I've even went to the police about particularly serious ones, and they said there was nothing they could do about threats. Are threats only illegal if they're at corporations? This is another good example of like, you can literally get messages from people online, and many people, especially content creators, have talked about having stalkers. Male and female content creators have talked about having stalkers. That like they know their address, they know their home, they know their name. They have all the information on their stalker, and their stalker's literally saying like, I can't wait to see you again today. Like, I'm going to see you again today. And you go to the police and they're like, sorry, we don't really feel like it's a threat yet. We can't really do anything until they actually try to kill you. But you on the phone with a Blue Cross representative is saying deny, delay, depose. Yeah, actually, you should be arrested for 15 years. How dare you say something mean to just a little small being corporation? I had a man tell me that he knew my address and he had a gun, and the cops were like, okay, and? Okay, and? School gets shot up, nothing gets fixed. Someone says DDD, and suddenly they lock them up. What the hell is happening? Also, does Colleen Rugg guy not know what a copycat is? What did she say that would, what she did would not classify as, yeah, a copycat would be someone who'd actually go and do the murder. What the hell? Let me raise the volume a little bit.
To protect the community.
With her head in her hands, Briana Boston learned she would be held in jail on $100,000 bond. The Polk County judge adding the bond was appropriate given the, quote, status of our country.
It's not like she's a child. She's 42 years old, so we're not dealing.
I hate you. I hate you, Chief Sam Taylor. I hope your wife hates you. I hope your children hate you. I hope your great grandkids hate you, you piece of shit. I hate you.
With a child here, she should certainly know better.
Thumb-looking
Lakeland
ass.
Police Chief Sam Taylor says his department was contacted by the FBI Tuesday. Authorities say in a recorded phone call about a denied insurance claim, Boston told a Blue Cross Blue Shield employee, quote, delay, deny, depose. You people are next, end quote. The language matches the words police say were written on the shell casings found at the United Healthcare CEO's murder scene in New York City.
I hope you get denied on all of your claims, sir.
We will take this very seriously, and we will put you in jail if you do something like this. It is not a joke.
According to Boston's affidavit, the mother of three told police she did not own firearms and was not a danger to anyone. But she added, healthcare companies.
Like, this is literally the basis of credible versus not credible threats. It's not a credible threat if the person has no fucking evidence of actively trying to plot this crime or this murder or whatever. This is so fucking stupid. It's literally only getting taken seriously because the targets are powerful rich people. That's it. The kid that shot up Appalachia High School, who was reported to the FBI the year before, but they didn't do anything because they said his threats were just a joke. But then they arrest this lady. Because, like, I will be honest with you guys. Generally speaking, if you do what the shooter did, what the CEO shooter did, you are probably someone who is a little bit mentally ill. It doesn't mean that you can't have a genuinely rational hatred for CEOs or for healthcare CEOs. But generally, when you're at the point of forfeiting your life or lifestyle for something greater than yourself, it actually does require some type of mental illness or mental spiraling. It doesn't mean that you're a shitty or like you're crazy, right? But generally speaking, it is not an indicator of like good mental stability if something like this causes you to take extreme action, which is like very weird. It's like kind of like paradoxical, right? Most people in a normal state of mind generally do not forego or forfeit their life and their lifestyle to achieve a goal greater than themselves. Your instinct for self-preservation, once that is gone, you've probably gotten some mental illness. With that in mind, things that can lead to the decline of your mental well-being is being denied life-saving treatment. So, like, if I can take out a little drawing, I think when people think of mental illness or they think of like mental instability, it means that you're crazy and you're going to go shoot up a school. But that's not inherent to mental illness, right? The Joan of Arc was absolutely crazy lady, but she's still a historical figure. I mean, yeah, I'll get into this in a second, but like, it is a state of mental well-being if you can resist a lot of stress and continue to make decisions that are for your well-being. Think of yourself as like a Darkest Dungeon character, not Darkest, yeah, Darkest Dungeon character. You have to continuously deal with stress and overcome it. Once you stop overcoming it, you have become mentally ill, but it doesn't mean that you became crazy out of nowhere. Right? So like in this instance, like let's say this is Luigi. Trying to draw him. Wait, Mario's gonna get my ass. Nintendo, I'm sorry, I was joking. Okay, this is Luigi. Doing okay. He is denied life-saving treatment. He has terrible spinal pain, which I believe he talked about how the injury like literally prevented him from being able to engage in any form of intimacy. And a big part of the way that the surgery went was because of his insurance company. But let's say this happens to you, yes? Your mental stress can just get worse and worse and worse and worse. Until you are like a much more mentally ill version of yourself. It doesn't mean you can't be aware of it, and it doesn't mean you can't like make decisions that make sense. It just means that you lose the ability for or one of the definitions here can mean that you lose the ability for self-preservation. Once he decided, okay, I'm going to write this manifesto. Let's just pretend like Luigi Mangione is the guy, okay? For a second. I'm going to go get this like ghost gun. I'm going to fucking stalk the CEO. I'm going to kill him. Okay, great. They either had to have a lower breaking point or they endured significantly more stress to get to their breaking point. Correct. At this point, you don't care what happens to you. When you're at the point of like committing a murder like this, you don't care. Because you have to assume, some part of you has to assume, premeditated murder of this degree, you should be assuming that you're going to get caught. Eventually, every decision is made with that framing. Everything as it worsens, time frame gets bigger and bigger, and you see less and less of that picture. Yes. And then he commits the murder, and then he gets charged with whatever. So, like, there is a valid, it's not like he went crazy or something. It's that bad things happened that were caused by someone, and he decided he would make the decision to do X, Y, and Z. But he gave up on self-preservation. This is sort of similar to what happened with Aaron Bushnell, the guy who self-immolated. The burden of dealing with knowing that the U.S. military doesn't give a single fuck about children being fucking bombed by our weapons of mass destruction, dude. That burden was too much to bear, and you lose the ability to care about yourself because you are dealing with such mental stress at that point. It doesn't mean that you're so mentally ill that you're crazy. Oh my God, I'm so fucking crazy. I'm just going to light myself on fire. No. It means that something brings you to that breaking point where life doesn't feel worth living anymore. I want to make that distinction where you can be experiencing mental illness, but also not be crazy. It's a rejection of the cognitive dissonance. Precisely correct. 100%. Precisely. And I mean, like, assuming that Luigi's the guy for a second, seemingly he stopped speaking with his family members for months. He basically isolated himself. I think they said for like 3 months. His mom is trying to call people to find out where he is. Nobody has heard about him for forever. Like that would fit the mindset of someone who was in this state of someone who experienced extreme hardship until they could not take it anymore. With that in mind, this is not the type of person that would throw away their life. Someone who has no weapons, someone who is still actively participating in her life with her family, with her children, with her husband, at her job. Who doesn't have any weapons. This is not a credible threat. This is very clearly someone who is mentally well, who's just frustrated with the healthcare system. So it's insane. It's insane to pick this person out and be like, this is obviously a very serious threat. Meanwhile, when there's actual serious threat, they're not taken seriously at all. It's like, okay. Okay. All right, sure. Also, short YouTube video on how the police have no legal obligation to help people in danger. Therefore, when they do so for a corporation, it is institutionally voluntary. Correct. Yes, correct. I think I've seen the video you're talking about. It's the guy in the subway, right? Who was just, yeah, this is the one. It's the guy in the subway who like fights off these like criminals, or like, I think it might have been someone having an episode. And the police just watched. I think I've seen this video. It's a dope story. This guy is like a fucking Giga Chad. If you guys don't post the Giga Chad emo while we're watching this, or the Chad emo while we're watching this, I will ban you. I will ban all of you.
If you've ever been on the internet, I mean, you're here right now, you probably wound up in the comments section of at least one article about a mass shooting, some other kind of killing spree, and seen dozens of assholes make comments like,
dude, if I was there, I would have totally stopped that guy. I totally know Kung Fu, and I just like knock the weapon out of his hand and then break his neck with a spin kick, and then my mom would finally love me.
My name is Joe Lazita.
It's, oh my God. 7 years ago, it's still so fire.
One day in 2011, my morning commute was interrupted by the tail end of a 28-hour-long stabbing spree. The reason that spree ended is because I stopped it, and I learned. The stabber, Maxim Gelman, was already famous across the city. I didn't know any of that, though, because I'd gotten up too early to catch the paper. So when an obviously high person staggered crazily into the train, I just kind of figured morning in New York, you know?
Not me literally about to say, that's just a morning in New York, okay? There's at least one person that looks like they're on 500 drugs at the same time. On your morning and evening commute. It's like there's always one person who's like, it's fine. And they're generally harmless. Like it's happened exactly 0 times that I've been attacked. So I'm like, just another day that ends in Y, I guess.
No, that creepy guy, who I'd later learn was Gelman, started banging on the door of the engineer's compartment.
Let me in.
I was sitting right by the door. The only thing separating the engineer and myself was a wall. It turned out there were 2 cops on the other side of the door, lying in wait in case Gelman hopped on this train. I found out later they'd recognized him, but they didn't charge out to stop him. Instead, they asked him a polite question.
Who are you? I'm the police. You're not the police.
You'd expect 2 armed cops to, I don't know, maybe do something about a wanted fugitive spree killer that they were on the train specifically to arrest, but they stayed put. So Gelman walked up to me, whipped out an 8-inch knife, and told me,
"You're going to die."
Then he stabbed me. I was in the sort of situation every man thinks about at least twice a day. Suddenly thrust into a life-or-death situation that required
This guy
me
really just said, and then I started stabbing. It's like an episode of fucking Sunny, dude.
to become a badass. Unfortunately, I had no badass training. But I have watched a lot of MMA, and when he brought back his arm to stab me again, I decided to dive in for a single leg takedown. It should have looked like this. But in reality, I shot in too high and wound up tackling him by the waist, rather than getting him in the leg. So he stabbed me repeatedly in the skull. The good news for you armchair badasses is that you can have no idea what you're doing, but still succeed on dumb luck and balls.
You ever get stabbed in the head? And you're fine.
Weighed Gelman by a lot, so he went down despite the power of a knife on his side. So we're both on the ground, I'm on top, and he's still got his stabbing machine in hand.
Dude, adrenaline is so cool. Adrenaline, isn't it crazy that what's the thing in what's the I'm like blanking. My Hero Academia? I guess it's not really a good example. It's not really good. Endorphin? No. I was trying to think of like a media reference, but like basically, you know, in like games, certain characters that do more damage when they're at low HP. You know what I'm talking about? Assassin characters that just like the lower your HP, the more damage you do. Isn't that cool that that's real? Like that's literally like you just, if your adrenaline is high enough, you just don't feel pain. Your adrenaline is pumping so hard, you're just like, you just go dicko mode, you just go berserker rage mode, and you like suddenly can do feats your body never thought you could do before. That's so fucking cool. Or like stories of people who are not very strong in like moments of high stress, suddenly having significantly more strength than they thought was possible. Like you literally, in moments of high stress, your body just like lets go of the Rock Lee weights at the expense of the rest of your body. That's so fucking cool. That's so cool. Like you're not supposed to be lifting that type of weight because it's damaging to your like bones and like your muscles. But if you need to, you can do it. Injure yourself in the process, but you can do it. That is so sick. The strength gain is the most wild part to me. I once lifted someone my weight straight up out of a hole in a lake ice without even feeling strained. Yeah.
Denims, can we watch the Rock Lee x Garura fight scene?
Isn't it Gara? Am I wrong? Actual limit break? Yeah. Forgive me, Sensei. Just this once. Evolution is crazy. Evolution is so fucking crazy, dude. It's crazy that your body under high stress will just remove the limiters, and it's like, just this once. Just this once.
I had to grab his right hand, which held the knife, with my left, but I missed, and he sliced me good in the thumb. I tried to catch him a second time and failed, so he slashed me again in my left tricep. My third grab was a chom, though. I caught his hand and slammed it into the ground. He dropped the knife. Once I had him pinned and was, dying of blood loss, the cops decided it was safe enough to arrest Gelman. Next thing I remember is a cop tapping me on the shoulder. "You can get up now, we got him." I thought that was being charitable, but at the time I didn't exactly feel argumentative. There was no pain yet, just this warm feeling from the blood gushing out of me. It was like standing in the shower with warm water spraying the top of your head and flowing down the back of your neck. And again, when you'd expect the police to jump to my aid, they didn't. None of them even touched me. The only guy to render aid was another passenger, Alfred Douglas, aka Napkin Man, because he staunched my bleeding injuries with napkins. I think Napkin Man probably saved my life, but at this point I'd been stabbed roughly all the times a person can be stabbed while remaining conscious. And so I passed out. When I eventually came to in the hospital—
What a fucking Chad. Alfred the fucking Chad. Have you guys seen the videos of like New Yorkers jumping down into the train tracks to get someone who fell? That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. What the fuck? Blue collar workers are dope. And cops would never. Cops would never. They'd be like, I would, but like first you have to submit a claim for pre-approval to be saved. And then if you get accepted for that, then maybe we can send a first responder in. Then maybe, okay?
But it was kind of frustrating to realize that none of the early coverage mentioned me or Napkin Man.
Yes, correct. That is just part of being a New Yorker.
The police gave all the credit to the two officers who'd been in the subway train with me, only neither of them actually even left the booth until I disarmed Gelman. During the grand jury hearing, one of the cops testified, I started to come out, I opened the door, but I thought Gelman had a gun, so I closed the door and stayed inside. I can see how in a stressful situation you might mistake a knife for a gun, but also that kind of makes it more infuriating. If you, Mr. Cop A. Policington, thinks this insane, drug-addled murderer has a gun, and he's sitting on a train bound for Times Square, don't you want to stop him at all costs? So yeah, I decided to sue the NYPD. The first case I brought got dropped, so I acted as my own lawyer for the second case and finally made it to a judge. The judge said,
Mr. Lozito's
This
version
guy is so fucking Chad.
of the story sounds highly credible, and his version of events rings true.
but I still lost the case. Here's how that was justified in its original legalese.
No direct promises of protection were made to Mr. Lozito, nor were there direct actions taken to protect Mr. Lozito prior to the attack. Therefore, a special duty did not exist.
It turns out there was a major piece of legal precedent in my way. In 2005, the Supreme Court ruled on Castle Rock v. Gonzalez. In that case, a woman sued the Castle Rock PD after they failed to respond when she complained that her estranged husband had violated a protective order and abducted their kids. He eventually murdered them. The Supreme Court ruled in the police department's favor. It turns out it's literally not their job to protect people. So to the internet badasses who are about to comment on this video and claim they totally nailed the takedown, you should make a note of a few things. First, my insurance had me in and out of the hospital in 2 days. And the hospital didn't give me any AIDS or hepatitis tests after I'd been stabbed with a knife that had stabbed other people. Apparently that's not medically necessary.
And so we come full circle.
Second, if you ever get the chance to confront a dangerous armed madman, don't trust in the police having your back. Don't expect to get the credit, and hope like hell there's another napkin man waiting in the wings to help you.
I'm just very happy that the police decided this was the time to step in, lest an innocent poor uwu CEO was harmed by this woman's statement. I'm glad that they only step in when there's no danger or risk to them at all. Thank goodness. Whew. Ugh. Jeez. We all saw the cowardice at Uvalde? Yeah. Yep.